How are you feeling, Chaz?
I'm feeling nervous.
Why are you nervous?
My parents and my grandparents would always say that we were Naga. We've always been Naga, and that's all I've known, that I'm Naga.
Tell us, growing up, what sparked your interest in genealogy?
So I think it was about 4 the first time my dad ever told us the story about Amos, and I wanted to see if there was any truth to that.
So the reason I want to take a DNA test is because there's a lack of history or information about my ancestry, and actually, in fact, the ancestry of like everyone from where I'm from. That's good. No food or drink for 30 minutes. Spit to fill the line. Close the funnel.
What has happened now is that those databases have gotten so big. There's about 20 million people that have taken these tests now.
I'm sorry.
They basically get your DNA from your saliva. And they have a little test tube, and there's a little mark on there, and you're supposed to spit in there until the saliva rises up to that mark. And the bubbles don't count.
No, this would be so hard.
My life goal when starting when I was 4, was to find our family. The DNA test gave me nothing. The first time my dad ever told us the story about Amos, we were told that he was a stowaway on a ship when he was 14. To his 30s in this picture. He had one daughter. Some uncle came up to her one day and was like, "You're not actually Italian, these aren't your parents." Years later, my father and his sister were looking through paperwork and they found 2 different birth certificates. So I went digging. I spent some time digging through the sites, digging through the articles and the paperwork, and I found something. I found Amos's naturalization paperwork.
So Chisuk is at work. We are both the lead student managers at Commons Dining Hall. And he's a really curious person. He likes to know things. I'm not gonna call him a know-it-all because he'd kill me, but he's from Nagaland, India. His whole family is from there, and they don't really know a ton about it.
I don't have my keys. Come to my house.
It was like dark.
For Nagaland, it's
Here we go.
it's really complicated because the narrative of what my parents think, where we're from, as well as like what everyone in India thinks where we're from is very different from what the truth actually is. So there's this whole like community and system built in place that you would believe has been there for centuries because of how complex it is. But my own people did not know where they were from, you know? Like there was no history dating back to how we ended up where we ended up.
I think with Leah's story, it's the romanticized version of what we all want. This whole project, we've been preaching this idea that there's this innate human desire to understand who we are and where we've come from. We all want to feel like we belong to something. We want to feel like we belong to something greater than who we are and something that's rooted in history and something it makes it feel more validated. And I think Italy for Leah, that really solidified it, and I think it really represents what we all want.
Finding his paperwork was incredible. I cried because on it listed his birth town, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but as a 4-year-old, and my father told me that we could have family in Italy, my goal from that moment on was to go to Italy and find my long-lost relatives, and we'd be reunited, and it'd be this wonderful thing. In this whirlwind of events, the tickets were booked, and in like 2 months I was going to go to Italy and visit Amos's hometown. So you're driving through Tuscany, which is beautiful, and then we arrive in Lucca, and then we start going in the mountains, and I'm just like getting jittery and excited. And then it dawned upon me that I could come here and find nothing.
Honestly, I think this test, I don't think it'll change the way I look at myself or change the way I do things. Yeah. Okay. So I'm logging in now. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. So I'm... Wow.
So, for the next 3 hours, I had 2 government officials put all of their work aside and help me find my family. The woman was like, you know what, let's keep going, let's keep trying. It can't hurt. And I was like, well, you're right, I did travel to Italy for this, it can't hurt. I'm already here. One of the workers has been making copies, and as she goes, she's like stamping them and signing them, and she goes, I made all of these documents for you, they're official documents. After 1915, Italy made a law that no Italian immigrants' children could claim Italian citizenship. She goes, so what year was it that your father was born? And she goes, the law ended in 1948. And I go, my father was born in 56. She goes, okay, that means that the law was demolished by that point, meaning that your father could have applied for Italian citizenship because it didn't fall, his birth year didn't fall between the years of 1918 and 1948. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, I never could have imagined. And she goes, which means that you could apply for Italian citizenship.
It says that I'm 78.3% Chinese. You know how I said that I don't think these results would affect me? I feel like it's completely the opposite because like I'm looking at them and I didn't expect myself to react in that way, or just like I'm very confused, I guess.
I think your identity is defined by a multitude of factors, and they can't always be narrowed down to a single factor, but rather it's this multifaceted thing that makes you who you are.
So I was shocked. At the same time, I wasn't shocked. You know what I'm saying?
I guess the DNA test gave me a push, but going to Italy was the answer. And I will forever be grateful for the opportunity that I had to go and that I got to find all of this.
We've made this other culture separate from anything in the world right now. And it's something that belongs to me. It's something that belongs to my people. And because of that, I know I'm going to be all right.